All right, welcome back. In our last video, we created an item that we can have droppable, and it kind of floats up and down. It even casts a shadow. Isn't that neat? And it disappears if you wait too long. It's only set to 10 seconds. That's really just for testing, but we can come in here and pick it up as well. It goes into our inventory. In this video, once you've selected it, what we're going to do is have the Q key be able to allow you to drop it. So if I've got a number of items here, pressing the Q key multiple times will drop multiple items, and we'll have that kind of happen a little bit randomly. I think out in front of you somewhere that these floaty items will appear. So let's see what we need to do that. It should be relatively simple. What we're going to do is go into our where is it? Edit, project settings. There we go. Go over here to input. That's our select hotbar item. Yeah, okay. So we want to add another one of these keys here, and we will call it drop item. And we'll make it the Q key, keyboard. Q. That's all we need from that. Now we'll want to go into our player character base, and this is our that's our select hotbar item. And do we have that's a select hotbar item, selected hotbar number. We've got that. All right, so we should be able to go drop item. When that's pressed, we're going to want to get our selected hotbar number. And it's defaulted to -1 if it's not anything. So what we want to do is say if it's greater than -1, then we want to branch. Plug that into here. So why am I doing this? Well, if it's greater than -1, it means some hotbar position is selected. But then what we want to do is access that hotbar inventory. And inventory set. We want to get the inventory from it. We want to get a reference to that number. Oops. Let's clean this up a little bit. That looks a little bit better. You can pull this down here, this down here, bring this in a little bit closer. And then let's go ahead and split this struct pin. And we've got a count. And we want to say, is this greater than 0? So we'll have a branch. And now let's compact this a little bit. I really don't like this stuff getting so strung out. It's really hard to read. So we can pull this down here and pull all this stuff back here like this. So if that's true, it's greater than -1, and if the count is greater than 0, we've got the item here. What we want to do then, do we have on this inventory item, on this hotbar, have we got a remove? We do have a remove item on it. Oh, that's a remove. Remove all instances of item from array. That would empty it. Nope, that's not what we want to do. Actually, what we need to do is go look at our inventory component. Let's go look at our inventory component. And see what we have here. Add, find, toggle, inventory. Yeah, you know what? We need a function here called remove items. Remove items will need an item. Do we want to do an item struct? Yeah, I think so. This is inventory item struct. Yep. We want an item struct to remove. And we want a integer called quantity. So find available stack item, toggle inventory, remove items. So here is our inventory. Remove. Here's our inventory. We want to do a get a reference. We've got the quantity. We need an index. Actually, you know what? We don't need this item struct. We need this to be an integer, and we're going to call it index. So we'll get this item at this index, and we will split this struct pin, and it's got a count. And so if the count, so if the quantity here is less than the count, if the quantity is less than the count, what we're going to do is take this reference here. No, we didn't want to do that. What we want to do is we need to reduce this count. Oh, yeah. We need to take this count and subtract this quantity, and we'll straighten these out. A little bit. All right. So far, so good. We want to subtract the quantity And then we want to take this inventory again. We'll get the inventory over here. It'll be a little bit easier. And we want to set array element. We still want this item, but oh, what I'm going to do here is break those links. I'm going to recombine that struct pin, and I'm going to pull it off, and here is where I'm going to say break, so that I can plug this count into here, but I can get this item and plug it into here at and I can get this count and plug it into here, and I can take this index and plug it into here. We'll pull this up. If this is true, I'm going to do that, and we're not going to do a size to fit. All we're going to do is set that array element with that new quantity. But if it's false, we're going to set that to 0. So we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to copy this. If it's false, we're going to set the item to this is a create inventory it's make inventory item struct with the count at 0. That's the item we're going to put in there at this same index with a count of 0. So it'll also clear it out. It'll have a blank item, and it'll just be an empty slot. And that should do it. When we remove an item, we'll be removing one at a time for now. We'll do other things later where we can remove more than, oops, what does it not like? Oh, we got to have the inventory, this one. That's it. Now it should compile, save. All right, so there's the blueprint. I'll leave it up on the screen for a few seconds so you can easily pause the video if you want to look at it and go through it. Maybe you could draw that a little neater than I did. That's not terrible, but yeah, sometimes these can get a little involved. So save. So that actually removes it from the inventory, but we have not yet dropped it. And the one thing is we need to do is if the item count is 0, that's if it's there. All right. So there's probably one other condition that we need here. If it's less than this, we probably need a condition. We need to check that condition first, I think. So we've got the count. We can put a branch right here. Oh. We can put a branch right here, like this in to here. We can take all of this stuff here and kind of move it back like this. And the condition I want to know about is this count equals 0. No. If this count is greater than 0, greater than 0, then we'll allow it to go forward. So let's get this and move it down here. Move this back a little bit. We'll neaten this up some. So if it's greater than 0, we'll go ahead and go through. We're going to drop something. If it's not greater than 0, if it's 0, we're going to do nothing. We'll just end. We'll stop. So we'll check that and make sure, and we'll see if we can now at least kick items out of our inventory. We haven't gotten to dropping an actual item yet, but we'll pick some up. We'll hit our 1 here. We'll hit Q. And it's not, oh, you know what we didn't do is update. We didn't call the update. Player character base. So here we're calling when we pick something up, item pickup. Here it is, update hotbar. That's what we want to call. So down here, nope, that's not it. Where did I put that? I'm lost already. Oh, it was on inventory component. We're not even calling it yet. Remove items. We haven't called it yet, so it doesn't matter. But, oh yeah, we'll do that here in player character. Okay. Now we have to go. We can't test it yet. We got to go back to player character. This is where we're picking up the action, and this is where we have to get our inventory component for the hotbar and call remove items function. The index that we want to use is this selected item index, and the quantity is going to be 1. We just want to remove 1, and then we want to call that update hotbar, and that's this, right? So now we can come off here and go update, darn it, come off here and go update hotbar, and that's that. Alright, so now we should be able to at least lose stuff from our inventory. It's not going to drop on the ground yet, but we'll get to that. So let's go over here and pick up a few apples. Let's go ahead and get this one while he's still there. So we got some apples. If I hit Q, if I hit 1 and then hit Q, it's not going away. Interesting. Okay, let's player character base. Drop item is pressed. Selected hotbar number. This is the select hotbar item. Selected hotbar number is getting set when we select that to the slot number. To the slot number. Yeah, it should be 0, right? When we select 1. Hotkey to int. A 1 gets turned into a 0. Yeah, that should be the correct item so when we press it, it goes to the hotbar inventory, gets the count at that inventory point. It's greater than 0. True. Remove items. It's calling remove items. It should be. With a quantity of 1, and then updating the hotbar. So let's go to remove items, and let's put a print string right here and make positively sure this is being called, and then we can do some other testing if necessary. We'll check it right here. E1, that's selected. Q1, Q. Why is it unselecting when I hit Q? Ah, because it is calling that update. I just realized that it's calling the update. Ah, something's not updating the inventory component properly, because it is getting through all this and it's calling the update. You know what? I didn't look to see if it's printing out 1. Let's go get some apples, at least 1. And then Q. Yeah, hello. It's printing each time I hit that, so it is calling that. So we can get rid of this. What is it not updating? It's setting set array element item. Ah, that minus that, this isn't hooked up. That's right. We have to do. Okay. I forgot something. We have to go make inventory item. Nope. Make inventory item struct with this item here and this new count, and this is the one we need to plug into item. File, save, play. Let's go over here, grab a few apples, go over here, hit Q. Oops, we got to hit 1, then Q. It's down to 1, and it's not. Okay, it's not taking it out. Inventory component, why not? It's down to 1. So if it's greater than 0, we're going to let it do this. If the quantity is less than the count, we're going to let it do this. Otherwise, it's going to come down and do this one, which should zero it out on that last one. But also, one of the things that before we troubleshoot that, I'm going to fix something I noticed here, which it's kind of strange. Player character base. When we select the hotbar item, what we also need to do is this stuff, which I'm going to do this way for the moment, but what I'm going to do is actually we need two ways of calling this, I think, because I want to after I do the update, I want to reselect the one that's currently selected. And the easiest way to do that is going to be to have a custom event going into here. That's coming from here, but we hotkeyed it in. We set that. We actually don't want to bring it from here. I want to break this link. I want to break that link. Just put it into here. And this one we want to go into here. Oh, come on. There we go. And then this event we're going to call we're going to call it reselect hotbar. Okay, what am I doing here? Well, I'm patching in an event to call just this part, because we already know what was already selected from the last time it was selected. And this event will call this, which will pull all this information together and select the spot, which means we can come into here and go reselect hotbar. And hopefully, let me save all, and I'll try to explain what was going on and why I made that change here. So when we pick up some items, and we come over here and we hit 1 to select an item, we hit Q, and what it was doing before is deselecting the item we had just selected, and that's because it was updating the hotbar. So now it's staying selected, but we're not dropping to 0 and clearing out the space for some reason. And I don't quite see why. Is it an inventory component? Quantity is less than count is true. We're going to go here. You know what? This needed to be less than or equal to. Less than or equal to. Float, or no, integer. Less than or equal to. And so this quantity, if this count here is less than or equal to, let's get rid of this, move this up here, and we'll go ahead and let this act. Well, if it's equal to, no, actually we wanted it less than. We wanted it less than. does need to be less than. Plug this into here. Plug this into here. And delete this. So less than is correct, because if it's not less than, if they're equal, we want to come down here and empty and clear out that item with this, set to 0 with a null, with an empty item, inventory item struct here, which won't show anything. And that should be working. Let's do a print string here, and we'll call it empty slot. Let's see if that's executing. Hey, sometimes no matter what you do, you have to troubleshoot things and figure out why they're doing what they're doing. Let's select one. Let's hit 4, 3, 2, 1. Empty slot. Why isn't it going to all the way to 1? You know what? It probably has to do with our update. It's the only thing I can guess. It's coming here and it's doing this. This item is an item struct. Let's double check item struct. Why would it still be showing? Oh, I know why. Set array element of this inventory at this index to this empty item with count of 0. Let's go back over to player character base. Remove items. We're calling that quantity 1. Updating the hotbar and reselecting the hotbar. Let's look at update hotbar. Update hotbar is calling update on the hotbar widget. Casting the player character. Hotbar inventory. Number of slots -1. Last index, slot index. Item, inventory slot, create inventory slot widget. Let's look at the inventory slot widget. That would be in the HUD. Inventory slot. I should have called that widget. Yeah, that's our widget. This. Look at the graph. Item icon and texture event construct. When this is constructed, so what happens here? clear children. So the inventory grid, we clear out all the children, and then we recreate them from the new information. So let's go back to our inventory component. We're doing this print string here. Let's print something out. Well, that's the inventory struct. Let's pull this off and break that inventory struct. Let's split this struct pin, and let's print out this item name. So the way I'm doing this, I'm troubleshooting through. I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with this. And by putting in these print strings, I'm looking at examining some data. It's very easy to examine data that way, and I want to look at what the name of this is that's being created here is a blank object, for one thing, and if it's being created. So let's play. Let's go over here, pick up some items. Come over here somewhere, hit 1 to select that, Q, 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 and see it's not printing anything. Let's go to inventory component. Let's do the same set array element, print string. Item name. Maybe it's not printing it because the default item name is nothing. Let's do a format text, but let's delete this, break that link. Darn it. Let's make this format be 0 quote space quote. We'll put something here and here, and what we'll put in here is the name. We'll put this into here. We can get rid of this. Okay, so let me explain this. This format text, I'm putting some text around it, and it's going to put the name in the middle of that text so I can see if this is printing anything out or if it's printing nothing out. I believe it should be printing something out. Let's go grab Q. Oh, we got to select it. Q, Q, Q. Yeah, see, it's printing out my dashes, and there's nothing there. There's no name. So if that slot is now got no name, it should not have that Apple icon. It's got to be something to do with... So this is, yeah, that's working. We don't need this anymore. We don't need this. So it's taking it out of the, it appears to be taking it out of the inventory correctly. So it's got to be something to do with the, it's got to be something to do with the update. So we're running a little bit long here, and so I will troubleshoot this, and I'll explain it, what I found in the next video. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, hit that like button. If you really liked it, hit that subscribe button. And if you'd like to see updates or see notifications when I add videos to the channel, hit that notify button. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.